We just got our first look at Call of Duty Black Ops 6 Season 1, and essentially with it they are addressing the biggest complaint currently in Call of Duty Black Ops 6, and that is the maps. We got to look at 3 new maps, but I also believe we got so much more information than that, including what the story of Season 1 is going to be, as well as the Season 1 operator. Keep in mind that's speculation, but generally when it comes to these kind of things, I'm pretty good at that type of speculation. So before we dive into it, we first have to take a look at what the tweet that actually came out today was. Here is what it is. Call of Duty tweeted, Season 1 takes Black Ops to the criminal underground on November the 14th. Here is a sneak peek at a few of the maps coming to Black Ops 6 multiplayer this season. First off, Hideout 6v6, Extraction 6v6, and Heirloom 6v6 and 2v2. Let's take a closer look at this video and see what it's all about. So first off, we have Extraction. This is clearly a helipad outside. Then we have Heirloom, which is our 6v6 and 2v2 taking place inside of a museum. And finally, Hideout gives me huge firing range vibes. Now, we can get a kind of better look and a better view of what these maps are actually all about. Starting out with Extraction, we can see that we are on the coast. There's a helipad, there's a building there. It looks like a medium-sized map, but at the same time, I don't totally understand where the boundaries are. I'm thinking more so the map goes this way because there's nothing blocking this back end over here, which is kind of confusing to me. We'll see a little bit of a different look when we look at some other maps, so I'm not totally sure where the boundaries are here, but if we look at where the map is, it is on the coast, and clearly it appears as though this is a part of Avalon, which is kind of the fictitious area within Call of Duty Black Ops 6, which was rumored to be the new Warzone map. We'll come to that later. After this, we move into the second map. The second map is Heirloom. Now, this is clearly a museum. You can see there's kind of paint splattered on some of the statues, but this next view that we have here is where we get more information. Down here in the bottom right, we have the post-expressionism in Avalon. So again, this map appears to be on Avalon, and we have the Lutazzi family art world. Now, we actually know who the Lutazzi family is. It's one of the crime families within Avalon. We're going to get into that in a bit, and it all has to do with the character that is coming, I believe, within Season 1. Now, the third map that we get is our firing range map, aka Hideout. Now, as you can see here, it appears as though the map may very well end at this wall here where the fence is, mainly because I don't see a way of getting around there. So it looks like that's going to kind of be the boundary on the side of the map, but it does look like you can kind of go towards that bus over there. Again, being more of a mid-sized map, and then we have Heirloom, which is going to be the small map, and I'm not sure about the Extraction map, the size of that one. But again, this map being on the coast, it once again looks like we once again have another Avalon map. So, as we know, in Avalon, a huge part of it is the crime families. I'm going to take a deeper dive into this in a second, but the one other thing that we do have is Treyarch. Treyarch tweeted out after this. There was also an update today. If you missed my earlier video, you should go check it out. But they tweeted saying, more maps coming mid-season 2. Season 1 launch is only the beginning, with a winky face. So in other words, in the mid-season, we're going to be getting more 6v6 maps. So they're saying, don't worry, if you don't like the maps, we've got more coming, and it seems as though we're going to have a same sort of release rate that we had for multiplayer with Modern Warfare 3. Now, moving into the entire crime family, we had one character within the Call of Duty Black Ops 6 campaign that was deeply entrenched in the story of Avalon, and that is Savati Dumas.
Adler didn't leave much intel on Savati Dumas, but I could tell you a thing or two about Avalon. It's a playground for the filthy rich, and crime factions run the whole city. Everyone's looking for who to push off the slide. When they pick a target, they hire someone like Savati. She used to be part of the Guild, one of the most powerful Avalon factions, but now she freelances. Savati said that Adler hired her to follow a Pantheon trail. So you're gonna join her on that job tonight. We want to see firsthand where that trail leads. Maybe we'll even add some muscle to the team. You'll scratch her back, sure as hell watch your own. Trust has got to be earned.
So only a very small portion of the campaign actually takes place in Avalon. However, there is a couple of situations where we get to see it and get more information about it. The one is where you play the assassination mission as Case, and this is essentially to recruit Savati Dumas. And when we are first introduced to her, this is what we see.
Hey, turn it down.
So Savati Dumas is kind of our connection to Avalon, and in fact this is shown even more. Remember how we were looking at the museum map there, and in it we saw the Lutazzi family? Like I mentioned, this was brought up in the campaign, specifically right before the mission where you go and do the heist at the casino. This is what we heard.
Okay.
Listen. I was able to isolate Gusev's audio this moment in the background. Now.
Still waiting for B-24, a wire from Fucina.
B-24, a wire from Fucina.
Who the hell's Fucina?
I have no idea.
Not who, what. Fucina is the Casino Lutazzi. Only the Lutazzis and their business partners use that alias. Adler suspected an Avalon faction was connected with the Pantheon. Now we know.
Not bad. What about B-24?
I have done some work for the Lutazzis, regrettable yet profitable. I have a contact that might be willing to shed light on that.
Let's help Felix connect the dots here. So have you two. We need a plan.
So narratively, we now know that the Lutazzi family, we are going to be going into their museum. And with that, we know that they are also connected to Pantheon. Hence, the story we will most likely be getting within Season 1 of Black Ops 6 and Warzone. Now, furthermore, we also have some information that tells us that Sev might be the operator that's coming. First of all, the connections to Avalon, but also during the last Call of Duty podcast, they said this when referring to Sev.
Who is an awesome character. We call her the master of disguise. She brings her own personality to it. She grew up on the streets of Avalon, was brought in by the guild, one of these crime factions. And
I'm on record as a Sev stan.
Yeah,
she's
awesome.
You're gonna get to see her in the campaign, and then maybe, you know, what else she's up to later on.
We'll see. And then
So that pretty much confirms that she will be coming or is coming in Season 1, which makes sense with what they're showing us, saying that we get to see the underground of Avalon, and she's going to be the primary operator within this, and she's going to be a mainstay and a main part of the post-season story for Call of Duty Black Ops 6. Also, throughout the campaign, we did get to learn a little bit more about Sev and her kind of backstory.
Years ago, I was involved with someone. His name was Pascal, another member of the guild. I had never met anyone like him. Someone who didn't take me at face value. He was convinced I wasn't a killer at heart, that I cared too much. And I believed him. I told guild leadership that I no longer wanted that life. They confided in me. They knew that Pascal was an operative from a rival family. He had infiltrated the guild to sow discord, take our secrets. They had the evidence. So they had me orchestrate his assassination. The most difficult thing I've ever done.
So essentially, the guild tricked her into thinking that her husband, boyfriend, whatever you want to call him, was evil. And in so, she orchestrated an assassination on him.
Yes. But it probably won't shock you, Case, to learn what happened next. The whole thing was a lie. He was innocent. I fled the guild and vowed to myself that I would bring the whole house down. Pascal was right about one thing. I do care too much. But he also got something wrong. I am a killer. Irreversibly.
So now, Sev is essentially vowing to get back on the guild, and now we know that the guild is seemingly working with Pantheon, and that is going to somehow tie into what happens moving forward within the Black Ops 6 story. So yeah, I think it's a pretty easy guess that Sev will be the operator returning within Season 1. So yes, as we know so far, it looks like 3 maps are coming at the beginning of Season 1 for multiplayer, all of which take place in Avalon. The story is going to revolve around the crime families in Avalon and how they linked together with Pantheon. Sev will be most likely the character coming as the main operator and probably a large part of the story moving forward. We don't know how the rest of the squad will fit in, but I guess time will tell. This is essentially everything that we know for now. It was our first look at Season 1, and I'm curious, at this point, what are you guys thinking of the story, the character of Sev, and the maps as a whole? When we find out more, I'll keep you guys updated, but until then, make sure you're subscribed and have notifications on to stay up to date. If you enjoyed the video, hit that like button, let me know what you're thinking down in the comments, and as always, thank you so much for watching, and until next time, peace.
We are reaching for the stars, but we're